Successful businesses don't just happen, they have to be planned. But what exactly are business plans? What are their benefits? And what are their drawbacks?
A business plan is effectively putting down onto paper, identifying what your business is, what your market is, where you want to go, what your cash flow is, that's income and expenditure, and getting a full grasp of actually what is going on in your business.
A business plan is, in my view, it's a story. It's a story of how a business is going to become successful.
A business plan is a formal professional document which really acts as a sort of set of directions, or acts as a blueprint for the business, really. It has in it all the various components which are required in terms of the research and the homework that the client has to do, and it also contains some very important financials.
It starts out by looking at the current situation and a problem in that current situation. It identifies the solution that the business is going to provide. It explains why that solution is the best in the marketplace and why people are going to buy it. And then it demonstrates how many customers that business is going to win, over what time period, how it's going to hang on to them, and how much money that is going to generate.
People who are full of ideas and just want to start in business are going to make some serious mistakes and lose some money and waste a lot of time. But if they can just spend a bit of time putting it together and thinking it through, often with the help of an advisor, they will accelerate not only the speed in which they can go into business, but also potentially their success.
I had plans, but a proper business plan took the time and effort to make a proper business plan, and it's helped me out a great, great deal.
In a market profile for a business plan, we need to know what the existing marketplace looks like. We need to understand why there is a gap in that marketplace for this new business and the product and service it's going to offer. We need to understand exactly who the customer is, and we need to be quite detailed about that. We need to say, do what we might call a customer profile, to understand who the customer is and why they're going to want this product or service. We also need to understand who the competition are, who is out there doing something similar already, and why is this new business or service going to be better or more attractive than those existing competitors.
One of the key parts of a business plan will be putting the financials together, do some spreadsheet analysis and some reviews. Accountants can certainly help in there, but at the end of the day, this is an early stage business, and what happens in 2 years' time will be totally different to what the plan actually shows. What it should show really is how you're going to fund your next 2 years of growth. Do you have the cash to do that? Do you have the resources to do that?
So in the financial section of the business plan, we'd hope to see a sales forecast which would give us an indication of how much income we were going to be generating in a period of time. If we know how much income we're going to be bringing in, we can also calculate the costs that are going to be generated by putting that income together. That means that we could do an income and cost statement, and that's an essential part of a business plan. It also means that we could look at producing a cash flow forecast, which would show when that income was going to come into the business and when those costs were going to leave it. And that's absolutely vital for a small startup business. On the whole, businesses don't go bust because they don't make a profit. They go bust because they don't have the cash to pay their bills with.
The benefit of having a business plan is making sure that you can keep on top of everything that is happening in your business.
I think when an entrepreneur produces a business plan, it's really putting them in control of their business. It's really to give them the confidence that they know more about their business and where they want to take it. They may not actually in practice want to or need to show that business plan to anyone, but it proves to them that they have done their homework. And as I often say, it helps them sleep a bit easier at night.
It's good on reflection when you look back and you see that you've set yourself certain objectives and targets, and you're making sure that if you're not reaching those targets, then you're looking back and you're seeing why, and what have you set out in your business plan which was going to enable you to achieve those objectives. So it's a good start definitely to make sure that you keep on track.
And whilst the business plan is for the client, Of course, it's very useful to give confidence to others, such as a bank.
Business plans are very good mediums or channels for being able to communicate with finance houses. What I mean by that are banks or investors who want to see what your thinking is and why you might need a loan or even a sizable amount of money or even an investment in your business. That's the kind of document they relate to, and they need it written down, and they want to see the finance sort of played out through cash flows or profit and loss forecasts.
I think that business plans can be difficult to produce from the outset because what you've actually got is an unknown quantity, and what you're trying to do is project forward. So very often, particularly with the financials contained in the plan, you're actually looking into the crystal ball.
There's this expected turnover, predictive turnover in year 1, 2 and 3, and you really try hard to get that right, but it's so difficult to try and foresee how many people are going to buy your product or invest in your service.
The difficulties in drawing up a business plan are mostly about having objectivity to recognize all the different elements of your business. It's really being able to take a step back and to understand what your marketing strategy is, who your audience is, in my particular case of a magazine, or if you ran a shop, who your customers are. And so the difficulties with doing a business plan is it's not about sitting down in one afternoon and creating a document. You really need to put a lot of effort and research into it.
It just seems to be quite a lengthy document to try and write for something which seems to be so simple in your head. You just think, well, why can't I just go out and start doing this, when really you need to sit back and write a business plan so you don't go running into something and it go horribly wrong really quickly.
There's two parts to a business plan. There's a front end and there's a back end. The front end talks about what the idea is, how you're going to execute on it, that sort of thing. The back end is the financials, the sales forecasts and so forth. Because a lot of people, like bank managers or venture capitalists and so forth, have an accountancy background, they'll go straight to the back end. Let's look at your sales projections. I mean, how could you possibly project what your sales are going to be in 5 years for a new idea? You can't do it. So I think it's flawed. What people should be more interested in is this a great idea? And how much sales do they need to generate to cover their costs? 'Cause that's the first thing. Can you cover your costs?
There's too much emphasis placed on business plans, actually. I think they've become very staid documents of many pages, and basically a business plan can be put together on 2 pages, no more than that. It's got to set out the strategy and the concept of what you're going to do, how you're going to finance it, the people you need, the resources you need, and where your exit's going to be. And you can put that on 2 pages as a summary. When I'm reviewing an investment, I don't read beyond 2 pages. If I haven't actually got the theory of what's happening and seen what they're going to do, I throw it away.